Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, sit back and let's chat about what is coming up this week from the astrological, the human design, and yes, even later this week, we'll take a look at what's going on with the gene keys. So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It was a rainy weekend here, and so it gave me plenty of time to do some inside stuff. I made salsa from a batch of tomatoes that my husband brought home from a coworker. I made stewed tomatoes. I mean, there were so many, I couldn't just make salsa. um, and watched a football game on Sunday and really just sort of relaxed. It was kind of nice to be able to do that. It was like the first, fall-like weekend where I didn't have somewhere to go or somewhere to be, unlike weekends coming up. So I really enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed your weekend as well. Good morning, everyone out there. Happy Monday. Um, Londa says, Happy Monday, but I'm more like a Friday girl. I think we all are, right? Alexandra, good morning to you. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Mimi. Everybody's on the ball this morning. But guess what? We're going to have a lull this morning in about, let's see, it is 8:01 my time. So in about 12 minutes, we go into a void of course moon that'll last a whopping 7 minutes. Wow, to 8:20. And if you'll remember, our void of course moon is what happens when the moon is no longer making any new contacts with any of the other planets until it changes signs. And of course, that means then the moon is getting ready to move out of Virgo, where it spent a good chunk of the weekend, and it is now moving into the sign of Libra. So it gives our beginning of our week some relationship energy, some energy based in the more softer, sweeter, cooperative, co-creative energies. So I like it when we begin the week that way. Does it mean that we have no scritchiness out there? No, of course not. Of course not. We have to have a balance of energies. So if we take a look at what some of that energy is, for one thing, the moon this week moves from Libra to Scorpio to Sagittarius. So we have 3 signs being hit through the weekend. I think that's right, because it seems like, yeah, through Sunday. So 3 signs. We're moving from air to water to fire, and we're moving from cardinal to fixed to mutable. So what does that mean? Well, essentially, when I was looking at this, there was a reason why I wanted to look at it. I find it, I kind of felt like this week had sort of some different punctuation points in it. And meaning that it wasn't like all one way this week, that there was a lot of different kinds of energies popping up. So one way I can look at that is to look at the moon, because the moon is often changing. So we can get a feel for what is changing during the week. So we get a beginning that is sort of full of potential and, is available for us to start new things and to move into new places. And then we get into the middle part of the week. Let me see if I can give you the days on that. So so from later morning Wednesday through Friday, we have this fixed kind of energy where we feel like maybe we're spinning our wheels, we're not getting too much traction, things seem sort of stalled. And then comes along the moon in Sagittarius that breaks that wide open. So from later Thursday through Friday and early Saturday, the moon, and all the way through Sunday, actually, the moon in Sagittarius with fire energy. And it's mutable fire, means that it can change up the energy for us. So we start out kind of strong, we get into a lull, and then we finish strong this particular week. So I kind of like the way that works. Today we have the moon in a trine to Mars, and Mars is about to change signs. Remember, in May, Mars moved retrograde, or moved into its retrograde cycle by moving into, I think it was 9 Aquarius. And then later on, it was moving into the sign of back into Capricorn, which it has been back in Capricorn. And as of today, it moves back into Aquarius with just another 8 degrees. through Aquarius, and we'll be clear of the Mars retrograde cycle. We'll be out of the retro shade, as Suzanne Fulmer calls it. Let me see if I can give you that date for Scherzies. It's October 8th. So we have now Mars in the sign of Aquarius for an extended period of time until about November 15th. So through a good chunk of the next month and a half to almost, what is that, 2 months now? Because this is only September 10th. And so what happens when Mars is in Aquarius? Well, it kind of stirs up this need for us to be unconventional and for us to look at things upside down. Remember, I think it was Friday, I said I should dig that picture back out of the giraffe upside down looking at the world. And that's kind of what Mars going through Aquarius brings to us. It gives us that unconventional yet experimental kind of energies. It may also be a time for us to strengthen our groups, our commitment to the people around us, our commitment to the people in our communities or our tribes. So it gives us some really good energy, but it's also a little bit unpredictable because it is in a sign, Aquarius, that's ruled by Uranus. And we know how Uranus works things, right? Up 1 minute, down the next. Turning us inside out, kind of feels like a washing machine at times because we don't ever really know for certain what is happening with Uranus. We know, kind of a generalized trajectory, but we never really know how is he going to go about doing that because he's that great awakener. And remember, he was traveling with the goddess Eris, who's discord. So things are still sort of stirred up by that connection that the two of them made. And now we're looking at the possibility that, there's this whirlwind effect. Watch the news lately. There's this whirlwind out there. There's this hurricane out there called Florence, and she's setting her sights, it looks like, on North Carolina. So if any of you are in North Carolina, take steps to be prepared. I read an article this morning that said that Americans are getting like shell shocked from all of the things that are happening, and they're failing to be prepared. It's like they think, oh, we can go through this, right? We can do this. Well, yes, you can, but in case, you need to be prepared. So have your go bag, have your food stores, have extra money, have, the things that all of us on the West Coast, we are always on alert for earthquakes. Same thing. We always have to be prepared. It doesn't mean that we go into fear. We're just prepared. In the off chance something weird like that happens, then we're ready. We can survive. We can take care of ourselves and one another for the next few weeks. So this energy is a little bit, unpredictable. We're not sure, which end is up. And just to add some fun to the whole of the atmosphere, we have today Venus in a very awkward sort of relationship to Chiron. The nice thing about Venus is she's moving faster than Chiron, so it shouldn't last too long. But she's also in the process of slowing down for her retrograde station. So we have sort of this awkward out of rhythm feel that's going on to the week. And I felt that this morning right away. I was like, oh, what is up? My stomach is reeling, and then my head is reeling, and then my stomach is reeling, and then I feel fine. And then, it's just this weirdness that's going on. So I thought I'm going to look and see just for fun, because in the normal book, it doesn't really show me Chiron. It doesn't show me where is Chiron. So I have to go to another book to find out where Chiron is sitting. And Chiron is sitting at gate 25. Gate 25 is on the soul center, the identity center, or the G center. Good morning, Gail. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Tam. Good morning, Tam. And good morning, Asa. Good morning, Suzanne. Suzanne, how is your son? Please let us know how your son is doing. Did you find him? Is all well? We sent you a ton of love and a ton of heavy, good energy, a blanket, let's say, of really good energy for your son and you. Tina is saying my natal Mars is conjunct natal Uranus. Crazy town. Tina, you must be about the same age as me. I'm wondering, because I also have, and Londa has, natal Mars conjunct natal Uranus. And it is craziness, right? That gives that up and down feeling to our lives anyway. So I just, I warn you guys ahead of time, just so that when things happen that are kind of weird, that you don't go, freaky and think things are, the sky is falling, because it's not about that at all. It's just about strangeness, high strangeness, right? Hijinks. But I want to talk about the gate that Chiron is sitting at, because it's really a very beautiful gate. The gate 25 is the gate of universal love in its highest expression. And in its lowest expression, it's our lack of faith in one another, in the love energy that pervades the planet. And it really sets us up for having to find that core of who we are, and to anchor that core to the physical being here in the body. Let me show you really quickly. See if I could illustrate. So you see, this is the human design. This is the just now chart. I drew this morning. It is what the chart would look like if you were born today. And the reason I pull this is because we're going to talk more about the human design week in just a minute. But I wanted to show you right here. This is gate 25. I colored that in green. You can't really tell, but it's green. And it's because I colored that in to show us where Chiron is sitting. And it is part of this channel here that joins the ego will center to the identity center. It takes the two parts of our heart, right, and brings it back together. Remember, we've talked about this before, where the identity center and the will center split. That was one heart center. And then as we got into the dawning of the scientific age, probably right around the late 1400s, the energy begins to split and pull apart as we begin our voyage to individuate, to become individuals apart from the group. So now we have these two distinct centers, but they're still joined together by a channel of energy. And that channel of energy is called the channel of initiation. It is sort of the shamanic journey of, joining the two parts of us back together. It is the journey for our releasing ultimately of separation. That becomes a theme as we move into 2019. And I know it's really early to be looking at that, but I've been looking at that because I needed to know this for a project I'm working on with our little friend here, Tam, that's joined us this morning. As we're looking ahead at 2019, it becomes about community. It's a 3 universal year. So we're getting sort of our energy together to move into that community building, that I am more than just me, and I am more than just we. We are a tribe, we are a community. And what we ultimately discover is that we are only as strong as our weakest link. And that is possibly a discussion for another day, because that is a deep one that we can all contemplate, in that when we marginalize those people that we deem beneath us, or that they're not as important as us adults, if we're speaking about children, then we are weakening the whole of the structure, the whole of the human consciousness. So we're only as strong as our weakest link, and energy coming at us as we move into 2019. Yes, Tam, write that down so I don't forget that. So Chiron at gate 25 is showing us where we're out of alignment with universal love. Where are we out of alignment with the energy of love, with the energy of oneness? Where are we separate? Where we see it every day. Oh my gosh. Venus or Serena Williams this weekend in a tennis match, and in the gentleman from CBS that just got dragged down because of past problems with women, and the way he's abused or mistreated the energy of the feminine. In Trump versus Woodward, Trump versus Mueller, Trump versus the world. We have lots of things that we can see in our outer world that show us that we are out of alignment with universal love. Chiron bringing that up. Venus, remember, she's been moving through all of the fear gates, and she is still at gate 50, which is why we're not really digging deep into Venus yet, because tomorrow we'll begin the look at her next transit, which is gate 28, the gate of struggle, right? This is one that a lot of our millennials have very powerfully in their charts. And it's, they're here with that energy of struggle. I watch my 2 older daughters who are, now in their early 30s, And they're so anybody in their early 30s dealing very much with the energy of this gate of struggle prominent in their charts, in their human designs. So what is about struggle, and what is it about Venus that's moving through all of these fear gates for us right now? There's like this divine touch going on here, because we can't just like make this stuff up. I say this all the time to you. We can't make this stuff up. um, it's better than the stuff we could make up, I almost think, at times, when we start to look at what is it that we're being led to out of all this chaos and all this craziness that is our outer world at the moment. What is it leading us to? That's what I like to contemplate, because there's got to be something bigger, better, more extraordinary out there that we just haven't tapped into yet, or we haven't seen the benefits of yet, because the craziness is crazy. And it reminds me of, I think they're called the yugas, the Kali yugas, where we've been in this energy of this craziness, the Kali energy of destruction and transformation. But ultimately, the destruction and transformation is very much like the path of the phoenix, right? Rising up from the ashes, and there is something new on the horizon, something new being birthed. So even though Venus and Chiron are in this awkward relationship as we start this week, the question to ask yourself is, where is this leading me? Where am I not in alignment myself with universal love? Where am I still playing separate? Where am I not part of the collective or the consciousness of humanity? So we have a lot of fun, deep energies to start the week. And by the way, somebody remind me, if I don't remember, to pull a card, an oracle card for us for this week. I put the cards on my desk in front of me so I wouldn't forget, because I think it might be important for us. All right, let me just check here, make sure I've got everything I wanted to say. Done with the astrology for the week, for the moment. So let's take a look at the Human Design Week, because here we sit on Monday with the opening day of the Human Design Week, the sun having moved now into the gate 47. Remember last week, the sun was at gate 64, which was the gate of confusion. And we talked about how things were a little confused, and it was almost like downloads coming fully formed without the manual that says, how do I do this? And it's like opening the box of some kind of complicated piece of furniture from IKEA, and then there's no instructions, right? That's what was happening to us last week. Well, this week, the sun sits at the gate of Epiphany. So whatever it was that wasn't revealed last week gets revealed this week. And it may also come in big chunks. So, have your pen and your paper ready to take notes, right? Because you may need that as the download begins to really become revealed. The steps in the download get revealed. So it's a really interesting week. The Earth grounding in gate 22. One of these days, I swear we're going to have a webinar just on 55 and 22. In fact, last week, I think it was Friday, maybe it was Thursday, I posted on my Living Astrology page the PDF file of gate 55, gene key 55. If you didn't see it, go back and look for it. It's on the page. And I did that because I cannot remember. Alexandra, maybe somebody asked me for that. And I just so happened to have that PDF file. And it gives us a really clear indication of the evolutionary energy. Well, this week, the Earth is showing us the involutionary energy. Involution means the internal plane that's on the change that really drives and affects what's going on in the evolution. They're sort of like that, what is that called? The analemma, the 8 is all I can think. And what is that? Ouroboros, even the energy of what comes in as what goes out and so forth. So we have this sort of infinity symbol that's being drawn for us in how it is that we're changing on the inner and how we are changing in the outer. And gate 22 is about grace, graciousness, gracefulness, right? It is about how we change on the inward to really create an energy of love and beauty and grace that pours out of us and then begins to evolve the outer world. Along with that, even though there's nothing at gate 55, the implied energy is about freedom. releasing ourselves from that victim energy. And Chiron hasn't quite done it yet, but it will be backing into the gate or the sign of Pisces, where we'll be revisiting this energy of victimhood. Where are we victims, and where are we, succumbing to that victim energy? So this is really important work this week that we're doing, and more things can become um, revealed to you if you do your due diligence, your work. Mercury splitting the difference between two different gates this week. Gate 40. We talked a little bit about gate 40 because it's connected to the channel of community, and it is on the will center, and it connects up the will center to the emotional center at gate 37, which is the gate of harmony and friendship, and it's a really feel good energy. Gate 40 itself is the gate of the loner, but the loner is a part that is always seeking the whole. It seeks its place, its belongingness. So Mercury is sort of bringing us that message. Where have you gone it alone too long? And who is in front of you that you can partner with, or that you can be part of a group with? I like it when, I actually find it amusing when women tell me that they're looking for a man, they want a relationship really bad, but they don't put themselves out there where the men are, or out in the world, socially, where you can make connections. So here we have a little bit of a push by our little messenger planet Mercury to get yourself out there in the world, to get around the people who are like-minded, perhaps, or who are going to support you in the next steps along your journey. And then Mercury slips into the gate of confusion. So we have another opportunity that messages are coming in now, and also meeting up with confusion and not quite having its place. Hold the phone, right? Hold it, because the sun's still at 47 is going to be able to take those messages probably fairly quickly and turn them into epiphanies and ahas and revelations. Just don't get into your head and start trying to figure things out, because it is not the head space that helps you make decisions, right? It's just the thinking place. The revelation will come and show you what it is that you need to do next. Venus, we talked a little bit about, she's still for today and tomorrow at the gate of values, the fear of failing in your responsibility to others. When we looked at that gate through the gene keys, we saw that it was corruption at the lowest level, and not corruption like we normally think of in a moralistic way, but where the information coming in gets corrupted through a veil of fear. And then what we act upon is not clear, right? We are acting upon old, ancient fear energy instead of the clarity that comes when we really tune into our intuition. Mars sitting in an interesting place now, and we may look at this one deeper. I wonder how many days he sits there, how many more days he sits there. He sits there through September 18th, so it may be a worthwhile effort for us to take a look again at gate 60. If you'll remember, gate 60 was a shadow of limitation, and it is very clearly an energy of mutation, but it is not mutation like we would think of in a cell mutating into cancer, where the growth is just like exponential and gross and out of form. It is very deliberate sort of mutation energy. So even though Mars is bringing up maybe some quirkiness, maybe some uniqueness, there's a method to the madness, if you will. And so we'll take a look deeper at that. What I find really fascinating this week from human design is Jupiter. So Jupiter is the planet that we in astrology, it is all about growth and expansion. And when we look at him through human design, I always want to call Jupiter a her. When we look at Jupiter through human design, it's about the rewards that we reap when we do our Saturn diligence, right? When we learn the Saturn lessons, we really can see the Jupiter. We're in a position then to have the opportunities to bring us reward and recognition through Jupiter. And Jupiter's been sitting at gate 1, the gate of self-expression. It is literally the life purpose gate. For those of you who have gate 1 in your incarnation cross, that would be the sun or the earth in the black column, and the sun and the earth in the red column. Those 4 pieces make up your incarnation cross. And if you have gate 1 in one of those more uh, busy areas of your expression of who you are, then you're always looking for your life purpose, right? You're always looking for it. And when you seemingly don't find it, or when you seemingly cannot connect to it, it begins a process sometimes of bringing up anxiety and depression. The reason being is that gate 1 sits on the throat center, and the identity center, and it's reaching up to the throat. So if it's blocked from expression, then it kind of feels vulnerable, and it becomes critical of itself, right? So the lessons that Saturn have been teaching us are about self-love at gate 10, while Jupiter at gate 1 has been saying, okay, but self-expression comes when you have the right pieces on the chessboard. Now Jupiter's energy is changing, and it's changing this week, Wednesday, to gate 43. Now, gate 43 sits on the ajna, the second center, and it's reaching down to the throat. We call it the gate of breakthrough, or the gate of genius, brilliance. It is literally, and all of you have this gate, and all of you are going to have this gate now defined, because you're being asked to express from your brilliance. What is it that you can do better than anyone else? How is it that you're here to share your gifts and your talents? Remember, we talked about the North Node, and that is all about you taking the gifts from the South Node, pouring it out into this lifetime in the North Node, and expressing them in a unique way, right? Well, gate 43 is part of the Freak to Genius channel, the 43 down to the 23. And it is all about you sharing your brilliance. So from now for the next, let's see, is it through the rest of the year? No, it can't be that long. 43. I want to say it's going to be through, yes, through the middle of October. We are going to be dealing with our brilliance, your genius, your brand of that, whatever that means, right? There's one little caveat that occurs here. So in order to reap the rewards, remember the ajna is an awareness center. It isn't a center with any energy for taking action. No action takes place from the ajna. Let me show you where the ajna is. Here's the ajna, and here's gate 43. And this chart was for today, which is why we're not seeing Jupiter at gate 43. Jupiter's down here at gate 1. But gate 43 is reaching down to the throat center. So it takes the correct people in front of you, or the correct energy by transit in front of you, in order to be able to speak your brilliance, to share your brilliance. When you share your brilliance in the wrong time, in the wrong place with the wrong people, then the freak part comes out, where you're viewed as sort of not quite right in the head. Or, I often think of this as Da Vinci, right? Where Da Vinci, with his drawings of helicopter-like things, flight, back in the 1500s, when none of that was possible, he was viewed as almost a heretic. He was dangerous. Well, now you won't be so much thought of as dangerous or as a heretic, but as a lunatic or perhaps a little off your game. So make sure that your breakthroughs, that your epiphanies and ahas are shared with the right people in the right place at the right time in the right way, which means typically it is invited out of you to be shared. And that, remember, is because the throat is a projected energy. And I use these words, but I also teach you about these words. Projected in human design means that it's invited out of you. It isn't something where I just go vomit out to everybody this brilliant idea that I've got and everybody needs to sign up and come with me. because it isn't viewed then in the right way. You're not heard with the brilliance and the genius through which that you really need to be heard. So we share in the right time, in the right place, in the right way via an invitation. And that invitation can be literal, like, someone says, hey, Janet, you're being really quiet. Let's pull out of you the information. Or you, as the person with the genius, can kind of make a question to question the group. Say something like, I have a brilliant idea. It's a little off kilter. Are you guys open to hearing what I have to say? Are you open to hearing something brilliant or unique or different? If they say yes, then you have your invitation. If they say no, or they look at you skeptically, keep your mouth shut, because they're not ready. They're not ready for your brand of genius yet. It's really important that you share in the right time, in the right place, in the right way, because if you don't, then this becomes a source of mental anguish, of mental anxiety, of stress. Every one of you out there who are suffering from anxiety, depression, sadness, melancholy, you're dealing with the possibility that your ajna is overthinking, or that your emotional center is overreacting, because there's no design of depression. There is no design of bipolar. There are emotions that do that. There are feelings that are genuinely like that. But it's an interesting energy when you start to look at all of the anxieties that can come up from the ajna. And we'll be talking about that more as I am working very deeply on the ajna right now. It's the next center in the video series that I'm getting ready to produce for you all. So Saturn remembers that gate 10, self-love is the lesson, not self-obsession, not narcissism, genuine self-love, valuing yourself, valuing your contribution to the world. And from that, then being able to share your genius and your breakthrough in the right way with the right people at the right time. Uranus is completing. What did I just do with my little template guy? Okay. That's bizarre. Here, I put it right here. Here we go. So Uranus is sitting right here this week at gate 27. It's completing the channel from gate 50, where Venus is, over to 27. And this becomes this tribal energy, the matriarchy tribal energy of bringing in the values, laying down the laws that society is going to live by. And then 27 is the nourishing part of this. We don't lay down the laws as the feminine, or we don't bring in the values as the feminine that are going to destroy the community or destroy the world. That's not who we are as the matriarchy, as the maternal, as the mamas. We bring in life. We support life, right? We nourish. We feed. We teach. And we do all of that according to laws and values that support the continuation, if you will, of the species. The masculine energy is not in play here. The masculine energy is always in service to the feminine. This is why the society is turned upside down, right? The masculine energy serves the agenda of the feminine. That's loaded, isn't it? But it's true. It is the feminine energy that holds the values, that supports and helps the tribe survive. Gate 50, Venus at gate 50. The feminine energy with the value statements, with the energy that we know that takes and nurtures the tribe, that makes it survive, that allows it to thrive and flourish. Remember, those are my words for the last part of the summer. Thank you, Tom. Thriving and flourishing. That is what we're after. But we can't get there if the feminine doesn't take her rightful place and say, enough is enough. This is the line in the sand. Our children aren't getting fed. We're, creating an environment that isn't sustainable. We're creating anger and upset amongst people, divisions amongst people that isn't supportive of the freaking tribe. So we're going to make the change. And from now on, you masculine are going to go out in service of the feminine to get that done. And you're going to do it with what you have, masculine speaking, as their strengths: protection, They have the assertion energy. They have the muscles. They have the brawn. It's really fascinating when you start to really look at what this is all about. The feminine taking her rightful place means she has to find her voice again. Oh, yeah, yeah. And it's huge, right? You see it every day. It's happening. It's happening. The outer planets, Neptune and Pluto, they're sitting in sort of interesting and strange territory. Neptune sitting at the gate of doubt. Neptune's already sort of hard to pin down. It's very highly spiritual, etheric energy. You can't like grab onto it and hold onto it and contain it and categorize it. And so it triggers doubt within us, doubt that maybe we're connected to God or to source or to spirit, or that we have any kind of ability to do anything beyond be victims of everybody else's energy here on the planet. So Neptune is sort of stirring us up a little bit on the spiritual side of things, kind of asking us to look beyond the doubt energy, the doubt and suspicion energy. Maybe become doubtful of what people are telling you out there, of what the world is telling you out there. Because what we know to be true, the higher concepts, the higher energies of universal love, and the spiritual direction of our planet are really based in love, even though the world doesn't quite look that way yet. And yet doubt is what gets turned inward often on ourselves, and we begin to doubt ourselves or doubt our path forward. So it's really important that we don't take doubt and run with that and create havoc in our lives from that place. And Pluto still sitting at gate 54. He will be here at this gate all the rest of the year. This is the gate of ambition and drive. Literally, if we look at it through the lens of business, it is the big idea that's getting ready, the goal behind your business, the goal behind your project. It is the driving force, right? It is the why am I doing this, or the what am I doing? And if we look at this through the mystical journey that we are all taking on this planet, it is the energy that leads us out in the world to become enlightened. So Pluto, the very powerful, empowering planet, the planet of transformation, taking us through the dark night of the soul and out into the light again, is leading us toward enlightenment. But it starts with ambition. You have to want to go out and find the answers, right? You can't give up on yourself. You have to go out. You have to use your energy wisely and appropriately to find the answers. The energy of gate 54 is way down in the root center. It is a motor, but it doesn't have any outlet to the energies of the throat. So it has to go on a journey. And so begins the mystical journey in human design. So when I when I have coaching clients, I take them on a journey through their human design. One of the journeys we go on is the mystical journey, looking at your human design and what is it that you're here to become enlightened about. And that is a part of this gate 54. It starts that. It's sort of the trigger. I'm here on this planet and I need to find the answers. Who am I? What am I here to do? Who am I here to be? And that takes us into the search for enlightenment. The nodes are still sitting at 31 and 41. They will change signs here shortly. In fact, I wanted to say it's not September, so it must be October. It is October 21st. The nodes will change. And so now I've just decided I am going to spend some time with Mars at gate 60 because the nodes move into 56 and 60. So we want to change our story through gate 56, and we want to look at the energy of limitation. What is that really about? So there we have our human design week. Let's see what people are saying out here. Good morning, Daphne. April, good morning. Tina says that Jewish New Year started last night. How fascinating is that? Suzanne, I did find him. He is okayish. I want to thank you all for sending all the prayers, energy, and love. He will end up being okay. That is awesome. Laura, good morning to you. Good morning, Gail. And I think that's it for the comments out there. Any questions, anybody? Interesting. The energies remind me of, okay, I'm going to have to bring that up because I can't see the whole thing. Interesting. The energies remind me of the feelings I had years ago of a Greyhound bus of change barreling my way. Your Greyhound bus is now arriving. Our Greyhound bus is now arriving. And my dreams have been sort of reflecting that. They're kind of chaotic, but thematic, but I can't remember the themes, right? It's just like right outside of my field. Obviously my unconscious is getting the message, so I'm not gonna, worry about it. But my dreams have been a little weird. They could be a little weird because I've been watching this show called Sense8 on Netflix. If none of you have watched that, oh my goodness, watch it. Sense8. It's an idea about, it's not the exact thing that's happening on this planet, but I believe that it's the Wachowski brothers. They did The Matrix, and they are the ones who produced this. And there's a lot of sex in it. So let me just tell you now, sex and drugs are in it. It's a part of it. But it will blow your mind, because what it's talking about is a split in Homo sapiens, and how Homo sapiens are, I don't want to give the whole thing away. Watch it. It's something that I had an aha about. Some of you know that my son sits at gate 12, and that's a gate of channeling. And sometimes I just get into this space where I don't even realize it's happening, where I'm bringing in information. And one day I got this word, homo luminous, and it was striking to me that it was like, luminous light. And human beings, Homo sapiens is about the mind, right? Being knowledgeable, using the brain, thinking, cognition, etc., knowing from information mostly, and thinking, calculating, analyzing, etc., which is very much about Homo sapiens. But Homo luminous to me was about light, bringing in the light. And I foresaw, and I don't know what lifetime this is going to happen in, but I foresaw a split coming in the line of Homo sapiens, where some of the line breaks off and becomes Homo luminous and becomes light bearers. Light, maybe the light workers actually cause a split. I don't know how that comes about. In the meantime, it was just a fascinating aha that I got. And Sense8, SENSE 8, the number 8, on Netflix right now. Okay, so I am pulling a card that is going to represent the highest and best for us this week. What do we need to know going forth in the week? And I see you're going to be stubborn coming out. Actually, I know a card fell out. Ooh, and it's card number 25. And it came out this way. And it's round and round. All right, we get this beautiful spiral picture with the goddess in the middle. And it's card number 25, which reminds me that we just talked about the card, or the gate 25. And for those of you who don't know, I'm using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed, my favorite deck. So let's take a look at what round and round means for us this week. 25. I don't think we've had this card before, have we, guys? So round and round, the essential meaning is the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated. Cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. The Oracle's message says the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. Yes! Relationship message. Are you wondering, how did I get here again? Does something feel familiar right now in your dynamics with others? Maybe a little too familiar? Don't be surprised that you found yourself repeating an old story with the same sort of person who may not look similar, but who attracted you because of your easy acquaintance with his or her qualities. Your relationship is a mix of what is good and what is potentially challenging. You've been drawn to this person through the perfection of Spirit's plan for your evolution. You may have circled back to an unaccustomed spot, a familiar place, but that's fine, as you get to do things again, only differently this time. For you learned something of great value since the last time around. How will you choose to behave now that you're aware? Remain curious and stay out of the blame game. Blame and victimization go together. Chiron moving into Pisces again, reminding us of that lesson that perhaps we have not yet mastered. Prosperity message. If you're in a scenario that appears to be an echo of something that's already happened in the past in your work life, it is because you're being invited to see what you couldn't see before. This is a perfect time for you to look at the deeper motives you have and your attraction to the opportunities and people who have entered your life to be part of your journey to prosperity. Who helps you navigate? Who sabotages you? Who supports you? What are the familiar signs and your responses to them when you find yourself in a repeat of a pattern of the past? It's a good time to get a coach or mentor who can help you see what you can't on your own. Repeat what works, not what doesn't. Then you will free yourself from the old cycles and cease going round and round. Round and round. That's our card for the week. So contemplate that, see what that has, try it on for size, see how it feels, see where it is that energy is playing out in your life. I know where it's playing out in mine. I woke up with it this morning and yeah, I know. This is an awesome card, trust me. And you know what? I may just post some of those questions that were asked so that you too can contemplate those questions. All right. So that's all I have for you all this morning. I hope everyone has a wonderful start to the week. And let's see, anybody else have any questions, comments before I go off air? I don't see anything. Very good. So thank you all for joining me this morning. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Mwah! Have a great day. Bye for now.